Duties didn't look like those long jumps took anything out of him, but he's been having.
Here's Jordan Anthony from Tylertown, Mississippi. Okay, one thing again you'll notice about Jordan, elite speed he's bringing here to campus.
You thought football players were fast? They just started breaking track records. In 2025, speed is being redefined, and the world's top sprinters aren't the only ones in the race anymore. For decades, football players have been admired for their raw, explosive speed. But when it came to the track, that admiration often turned into a reality check. No matter how fast they were on the field, sprinters had always been in a league of their own. That was until now, because in 2025, something truly unexpected is happening. A new wave of athletes is reshaping what we thought was possible, and leading that charge is a name you're going to hear a lot more of: Jordan Anthony. The divide between field speed and track speed has always held a certain mystique. It's not just about being fast. It's about mastering a whole series of technical demands: reaction time, start technique, acceleration phases, top-end speed maintenance. These aren't just athletic skills, they're disciplines in themselves. And for years, football players dabbling in track quickly realized they were out of their depth against full-time sprinters. Even elite athletes like Tyreek Hill and DK Metcalf, known for their blazing field speed, struggled to keep up when they stepped onto the track. Sprinters live and breathe track mechanics. They refine every step, every drive, every transition into top-end velocity. It's an art form honed through repetition and precision. Football speed, on the other hand, is chaotic. It's built for lateral movement, sharp cuts, and instant decision-making. It's speed layered with strategy. Translating that kind of speed to the straight lines and perfect starts of track sprinting, that's a different beast.
Always fun hanging out with the mascots. Welcome back in. DJ Williams here. And Jacob, we just got through talking about Jordan Anthony. Super fast, talented dude, right?
He a glimpse back in time. The one exception that still gets mentioned today is Jim Hines. Back in 1968, he broke the 10-second barrier in the 100-meter dash, a world-shaking moment. But what's often forgotten is that Hines was also a professional football player. Even while balancing NFL commitments, he managed to make sprinting history. Since then, though, we've rarely seen that kind of dual-sport success. Sure, there were flashes. Trindon Holliday in 2009, Tyreek Hill in 2012. But nothing sustained. Track remained a specialist domain.
Jim Hines broke the record at the 1968 US Championships, that was in Sacramento, running the distance in 9.9 seconds. Later that year at the Olympics.
And it wasn't for lack of trying. The demands of each sport made it nearly impossible to dominate both. Football's intensity left little time for year-round sprint training, while track's technical nature punished any lapse in consistency. The window to succeed in both was razor thin. That's what makes 2025 so different. These new athletes aren't just dabbling, they're rewriting the rules. 2025 changes everything fast forward to this year, and we're seeing something radically different. Football players aren't just showing up on the track, they're dominating. And nobody exemplifies this shift better than Jordan Anthony. This wide receiver from Arkansas has become the face of a movement that's challenging everything we thought we knew about speed. At the 2025 SEC Championships, Anthony didn't just compete, he crushed. In the 100 meters, he clocked an astonishing 9.95 seconds. Less than an hour later, he returned for the 200 and ran 19.93. That's not just fast, it's elite. He's now ranked among the top 5 sprinters in the world in both events.
Through Ocon. Here comes Jordan Anthony. And then Ajayi trying to catch it. It's all.
What's even more stunning is how effortlessly he did it. In the 200 meters, Anthony began celebrating nearly 30 meters before the finish line. Looking back, yelling, practically skipping across the tape. He gave up precious time just to soak in the moment. And even with that early celebration, he still clocked 19.93. Imagine what he could have run if he'd powered through the finish. That's the kind of potential we're talking about here. Micahi, Danzy, Shockwave. But Anthony isn't the only football star rewriting the rulebook. Over at Florida State, another wide receiver named Micahi Danzy made headlines by winning the ACC championships in the 400 meters with a staggering time of 44.38 seconds. That's not just a personal best, it's a meet record and one of the fastest times in the world this year. Danzy's performance sent shockwaves through both the football and track communities. What makes Danzy's run even more impressive is his form and finish. The 400 meters is a brutal event, a mix of speed and endurance that breaks even seasoned sprinters. But Danzy made it look easy. He cruised past his competition, maintaining perfect posture and rhythm as he stretched his lead. By the time he crossed the line, the field was left in the dust, and the message was clear. Football athletes weren't just running track. They were owning it. Jelani Watkins makes his mark. At LSU, Jelani Watkins has added his name to the growing list of football players turning heads in track. He's clocked a 10.02 in the 100 and a 20.28 in the 200, numbers that put him right in the mix with full-time sprinters. For a freshman wide receiver, those are insane stats. And more importantly, they prove that this isn't just a one-off phenomenon. It's a trend. Watkins brings a unique blend of raw talent and technical refinement. His start is sharp, his transition smooth, and his finish aggressive. Coaches say he trains like a sprinter, studying tape, perfecting mechanics, and learning from every race. That mindset shift is crucial. These new athletes are approaching track with a seriousness that wasn't there before. They're not just visiting, they're setting up camp. Why now? So what's behind this sudden explosion of dual sport dominance? Part of it is the evolution of training. Football programs are incorporating more track-style speed development into their off-seasons. Athletes are being developed with a stronger foundation in running mechanics, and that's paying off. But there's also a mindset shift happening. These new athletes aren't just using track to get better at football, they're taking track seriously. And that commitment is showing. Another factor, visibility. With social media and highlight reels, performances like Anthony's and Danzy's don't just live on a results sheet, they go viral. And that kind of exposure is motivating the next generation. Young football players are seeing the crossover success and realizing it's not only possible, it's aspirational. Why limit yourself to one field when you can dominate two? The new blueprint. Jordan Anthony's rise didn't happen overnight. Since 2021, he's been gradually improving. But in 2024, he didn't even compete in the 100 or 200 meters. Then in 2025, he came back with a vengeance, winning the indoor NCAA title in the 60 meters, running under 6.5 seconds twice in 2 days, and then obliterating the SEC with his outdoor performances. His path is becoming the new blueprint. Use football to build explosiveness, then apply that power to the technical demands of track.
60-meter duties. Didn't look like those long jumps took anything out of him, but he's been having a really good indoor season.
And Anthony isn't stopping there. His eyes are now set on the NCAA championships, and after that, a potential spot on the World Championship team. He's already run under 10 seconds 3 times this season, proof that his speed isn't a fluke. It's sustainable, it's repeatable, and it's only getting better. Can they go all the way? Now the big question, can these football players take it even further? Can they qualify for the World Championships? Can they medal? Based on current rankings, Jordan Anthony is absolutely in the conversation. He's not just a fast football player, he's one of the fastest men alive right now, and if he continues to improve, he could become the first dual sport athlete in decades to stand on a global sprinting podium. What's even more exciting is that Anthony's story is inspiring a new generation of hybrid athletes. High school prospects are starting to balance both sports earlier. Coaches are collaborating across departments. And suddenly, the idea of a football player stepping onto the Olympic stage doesn't seem far-fetched. It seems inevitable. For years, we thought elite sprinting and football success were mutually exclusive. But 2025 is showing us something new. Athletes like Jordan Anthony, Micahi Danzy, and Jelani Watkins aren't just fast. They're world-class. They're flipping the script on what it means to be a multi-sport athlete. And as they continue to dominate both fields, one thing is clear. The line between football speed and track speed is getting blurrier by the second. This isn't just a one-season story. It's the start of a movement. The era of the hybrid athlete is here, and if Jordan Anthony's trajectory is any clue, we're just getting started. Before you go, drop a comment if you think Jordan Anthony or Micahi Danzy could make a world team. Like and subscribe if you're ready for more speed stories that break the mold.
From Kebageli, out wide Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away, and stretch away he does, and he's done it.
A teenager just clocked a 100-meter time so fast it's making Olympic legends nervous. Who is he, and how did no one see him coming? What if the next Usain Bolt was already here, and he was just 17 years old? Meet Gout, the teenage sensation who's turning the world of sprinting upside down. Born in Ipswich, Queensland to South Sudanese parents, this Australian phenom isn't just running fast. He's rewriting the rules of what young athletes are capable of. At just 17, Gout has already shattered records and caught the attention of legends like Usain Bolt and Noah Lyles. But his rise to fame isn't just about raw speed. It's about audacity, ambition, and a belief that greatness doesn't have to wait.
Teen sprint sensation Gout has broken the magical 10-second barrier twice in one night in the under-20s 100 metres Australian Athletics Championships. The 17-year-old ran a 9.99 in his heat earlier in the evening, but unluckily it was ruled to be wind-assisted.
Gout first burst onto the scene by doing something few thought possible, smashing Usain Bolt's under-16 200-metre record. His jaw-dropping 20.04-second sprint didn't just break records, it sent shockwaves through the track world. People weren't just watching anymore, they were comparing. Gout was no longer a promising junior, he was a real contender, and when you beat a record set by the fastest man in history, people pay attention.
He is absolutely gone, he is Gout of this world! 20.07! Wow! That is not human!
But he wasn't done. Gout followed up that record-breaking run with an equally stunning 10.17-second 100-meter sprint, setting a new Oceanian U18 record. That time doesn't just put him in elite company, it places him within striking distance of breaking the mythical 10-second barrier, a feat that separates the good from the truly legendary. For a 17-year-old, it's practically unheard of. And yet, here he is, chasing down that milestone like it's just another checkpoint.
Really good start across the field, but he's about to launch out of the track here now. Gout gets up on John, moves past John. He can't be stopped. He is incredible. 10.
And the excitement isn't just confined to the track. Social media has exploded with highlights of Gout's races. Fans from around the globe are reposting clips of his blazing starts and clean finishes, often captioned with disbelief. Comment sections are full of people calling him the next Bolt, or even predicting he might surpass him. Teenage sensation Gout has taken the athletics world by storm over the past year with his frightening times, drawing comparisons to the legendary Usain Bolt. It's not just admiration, it's excitement. The kind that only happens when people sense something special unfolding. What makes Gout's rise even more fascinating is the way he's being embraced by today's sprinting elite. Noah Lyles, one of the top sprinters in the world, has taken Gout under his wing. Gout told Fox Sports Australia, "He calls me little bro, so we definitely have a great connection." The two have trained together and are both signed with Adidas, forming a powerful mentor-protege duo that's generating massive excitement across the track world. And it's not just Lyles. Usain Bolt himself saw Gout in action and remarked, "He looks like young me." Think about that for a second. The fastest man who ever lived is saying that this kid reminds him of his younger self. That's not just flattery, that's a prophecy. But it's not just talent that sets Gout apart, it's confidence. This isn't a kid hoping to make a final or sneak into a relay squad. Gout is aiming for domination. He's got his eyes on the 2028 Los Angeles Olympics and beyond, setting a trajectory that few dare to even imagine at his age. And he's not shy about it. In interviews, he speaks like someone who knows his time is coming, and fast. He trains with intensity, often clocking double sessions and spending hours analyzing race footage. It's a level of dedication that you rarely see at that age. While other teens might be out partying or scrolling through TikTok, Gout is laser-focused on fractions of seconds, because he knows that's where races are won. His background only adds to the story. Growing up in a tight-knit South Sudanese Australian community, Gout has often spoken about how his heritage fuels his hunger for success. His rise isn't just personal, it's symbolic. He represents a new generation of global athletes who are rewriting what it means to be a sprinter, a champion, and a role model. I didn't expect it to be that fast, but I guess I ran Australia's fastest ever time in the 200. His journey hasn't been without setbacks, though. There have been false starts, minor injuries, and the pressure that comes with being labeled the next big thing. But each obstacle has only sharpened his resolve. Those close to him say Gout doesn't just bounce back. He bounces forward, coming back stronger each time. Still, for all the hype, Gout remains grounded. He credits his coaches, his family, and his community for keeping him focused. And that mix of humility and hunger might be his secret weapon. Because while others are celebrating their wins, Gout is already plotting his next move. And let's not forget the competition. The world of sprinting is more crowded than ever. From the dominant Americans to rising stars across Europe and Africa, every fraction of a second matters. But Gout isn't fazed. In fact, he seems to thrive on pressure. Each race is another chance to prove that he doesn't just belong, he's ready to lead. Analysts have started breaking down his form, and what they're finding is impressive. His stride frequency, reaction time, and top-end speed are all well beyond his age bracket. Combine that with his mental toughness, and it becomes clear, this isn't just talent, it's discipline, strategy, and a relentless drive to improve. With the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo looming, all eyes are on Gout. Will he hold his nerve on the global stage? Will he continue shaving seconds off his time? And can he truly live up to the impossible expectations that come with being called the next Bolt? So far, the answer looks like a resounding yes. And if he keeps this pace, we might not just be watching the next great sprinter, we might be witnessing history. Because in the world of sprinting, moments matter. Records fall, legends rise, and sometimes a 17-year-old kid from Ipswich steps up to the line, ready to destroy everything we thought we knew about speed. You know what they say? Pressure makes diamonds, and I guess I'm better than a diamond right now, he said on Saturday. And just like that, the race begins. But here's what makes this story unforgettable. Gout isn't chasing anyone. He's being chased. Because when you break records before you're legally an adult, when your name gets mentioned alongside Bolt and Lyles, and when your times are already threatening the sport's biggest names, you're no longer the future. You're the now, and if you blink, you might miss him. Think Gout has what it takes to shatter Bolt's legacy? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because this sprinting story is just getting started.
Gout has broken the magical 20-second barrier as he took the 200-metre title at the Australian Athletics Championships in Perth.
A teenager with a name you've probably never heard just broke a 56-year-old record. He trains in silence, avoids the spotlight, and still managed to stun the entire athletics world. So who is Gout? And how did he get this fast? This young? The answer might surprise you. At just 17 years old, Gout is running faster than most professional sprinters twice his age. He's already broken national records, stunned the athletics world, and clocked times faster than Usain Bolt did at the same age. But behind the medals, headlines, and wind-assisted sub-10-second sprints is a deeper story. A story of raw talent, discipline, sacrifice, and a coach who's been through more than most. This is the story of Gout, Australia's next big hope in sprinting, and how he's torching the 200 meters like nobody expected.
Knew we'd see this in the final 50, so let's watch the young superstar rise. He's flying. He will be
Gout wasn't born into fame. He's the son of South Sudanese immigrants and grew up in Queensland, Australia. From a young age, Gout stood out, not because he was loud or flashy, but because he was fast, really fast. At Ipswich Grammar School, where he's still finishing year 12, Gout's speed quickly became impossible to ignore. Teachers, classmates, and eventually coaches started noticing. But the person who saw the biggest potential in him early on was Di Shepherd, the woman who would become his coach, mentor, and guiding hand. Di Shepherd isn't your typical athletics coach. She didn't come from an elite sports background. In fact, she used to work at Woolworths and then in a school uniform shop. She first started training athletes through her involvement in Little Athletics with her own kids. She didn't go to the Australian Institute of Sport. She wasn't part of the High Performance Network. But what she lacked in connections, she made up for with passion, discipline, and a no-nonsense approach. She noticed something special in Gout. Not just his speed, but his mindset, his ability to stay calm under pressure, his emotional intelligence. She says it takes about 4 years to really know an athlete, and she's been working with Gout for almost that long. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where Gout starts turning heads. In December, at the Australian All-Schools Championship, Gout ran 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters, breaking Peter Norman's national record that had stood since 1968. That record was older than Gout's parents. Gout ran the 200 meters in 20.04 seconds, which broke the 56-year-old Australian record held by Peter Norman and also surpassed Usain Bolt's personal best at the same age. In April, at the Australian Athletics Championships, he clocked a wind-assisted 9.99 in both his heat and the final of the 100 meters. Those times don't count as official records because the wind was too strong. But they prove one thing. He's getting dangerously close to running a legal sub-10. That's something only one Australian has ever done, Patrick Johnson, who ran 9.93 back in 2003. But greatness doesn't come without sacrifice. Coach Di Shepherd has made it clear, to compete at the top, you don't get to live like a normal teenager. Your social life will be non-existent, she told Gout years ago. And now, that's exactly what's happening. While most of his classmates are out with friends or relaxing after school, Gout is training 6 days a week. He does 2 gym sessions on top of that. And he still has to study for his final exams.